I have a few things I want to go over. I really want to dive right into the charts. First of all, I want to kind of go over my goals today. I think it's important for us, and then I'll introduce myself, but kind of tell you some of my pedigree and why I think you should listen to me. But with Market Traders Institute, but today what we're going to do is I want you to start thinking about how you can start making money today. We have a tendency sometimes to kind of kick the can down the road. We've got to start thinking today. There's phenomenal opportunities within the markets, in the options market and currency markets and all types of markets. Now, I'm going to talk mostly, or actually specifically, about the currency markets today. And I'm going to show you a very simple yet powerful strategy that you can start using right away to start generating some extra income. In fact, more than extra income. It could be, I say one of two things. It could be potentially life-changing or life-enhancing type of income. And this strategy is really wrapped around a concept that Joshua Martinez, our Director of Student Success at Market Traders Institute, has really been developing over the last 7-8 years and perfected this. And it's a combination of an entry strategy and a risk management strategy within the currency markets. And the performance is absolutely amazing. And what I'm hoping to do is show you, and I think you'll see this today, hoping to show you that this strategy is consistently making between 2,000 and 3,000 pips on a monthly basis, and it's one of the simplest processes and strategies you'll ever see, yet very, very powerful, and very important to understand that this business, a lot of times we have a tendency to make it harder than it has to be. But there are students, I do want to show you, there are students, we're the real deal. We practice what we preach. We are real traders. At Market Traders Institute, we do everything we can to stay in front of our students as much as possible. With trading rooms, we don't just give you a strategy or a system or an education and say, hey, good luck. We're with you. We hold your hand. We guide you through this entire process. And some of these are the students that have taken our classes and understand that. I'm not sure if a lot of you know what a PIP is, and I'm going to explain that, not real in depth, but I'm going to explain that today. But these are just some examples here. Marina, up $1,000 on a trade that was called out by Joshua Martinez. Another one here, Aussie dollar, great analysis. Gathered up 100 pips on one and 120 on another and 280. Again, I'll explain what all that means over the course of this webinar here. Robbie Collins, look at this, 21.2% return on investment this week. That's absolutely amazing. There's only a few asset classes in the world that can give you that type of return. And options is one of them. I'm an options trader also. I love options. And I'm also a very astute and dedicated currency trader. And there are only two asset classes in the world from my standpoint. Futures are good too, but sometimes you have to have a larger account size, and it eliminates a lot of people to be able to get involved. But these are just some examples here. 572 pips. Again, this is just scratching the surface of some of the results that we get that just pour into us, pretty much on a daily basis from student success. And I think that's really what it's all about. I don't want to be this guy who just stands up here and says, hey, we're so good, we're so good. Look at us. It's really about empowering you to get the skills to be able to do this yourself, right? I don't think any of you are here, hopefully you're not here, to just get some magic buy-sell bullet or anything like that. It's really learning a set of skills to be able to duplicate this process of generating income from the markets for the rest of your life, and to be able to do that so you can accomplish the goals that you have. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Tyson Clayton. I am Market Trader Institute's product expert, Forex mastermind, options expert. I've been in this business for about 17 years now. I've helped train thousands of investors all over the world. I've made thousands of investments myself. I'm an international speaker, professional analyst, and I think most importantly for me, is I'm a full-time trader. I think it's really, really, really important, and I love the fact that Investor Inspiration brings some of the best traders and investors in the world. They bring real deal, and that's very important for me. There's so many fools. I think that's for lack of a better word. There's so many fools out there, so many snakes. We'll call them snakes in the grass, right? You get bombarded with these emails of just these crazy, ridiculous claims, and it's like, some of that is true, but there's so many snakes out there, and it's good to be around some amazing traders, and that's the one thing that I love, or I've got multiple things, but the main thing I love about being with Market Traders Institute is, as I've already said, we are the real deal. I've been around the block in this business, and I've been with a couple different places that teach people how to trade, and there's some other good ways on learning how to trade, but there's nobody in this business that holds the hand and guides the students and teaches them a very logical step-by-step process of trading, and then kind of incorporates themselves and really invests themselves in your success. There's nobody that does that like Market Traders Institute. So it's a pleasure being here. I'm glad that you're with me. I do want to start with a few questions because I think it's important for me to get to know who you are, and I think it's also important for you to get to know who I am. And so my questions are these. I have no clue why you guys are here, but what I'd like to know is, and you don't have to type this into the chat section if you don't want to. You don't have to let me know, but it's always good to get an idea of who you are. But I will tell you who I am. My reason for being here, I've got two reasons. One is a very selfish reason. It's because, again, I've been in this business for 17 years, and I know without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, I am a much better trader. I'm a much more profitable trader, and my wife and two sons depend on my trading. My wife stays at home, and so I'm a much better trader and able to generate more income and consistently maintain my lifestyle as long as I'm around other really high-quality traders. So selfishly, I'm here because one of the reasons I'm here is because I get to be around traders like Joshua Martinez and Jared Martinez, the FX chief. These are some of my idols within the business. They are some of the greatest traders in the world. On top of that, and this is actually even more important, the main reason I'm here is because I've been through I've seen the mountaintops, but before the mountaintops, I've seen the valleys of this business, and I've been through the hard times. And I understand that there are traders in here that are going through drawdowns. There's traders in here that are, trying to find that they know they can do this, but they're trying to find that that seed, that thing that'll help them get to a point of accomplishing whatever goals you have. And real quick, I've been in this business, as I said, for 17 years, and when I first started, I made every single mistake you could ever make. I wish I could tell you that, there was a light bulb that went on and I started making a ton of money. That's not the case. That's not the case. And I was put through all of that. It was very hard to go through, but I was put through all of that. And it took me about 4 and a half years to really get to a point of being a professional trader. So it took me a long time and a lot of losses. But I went through all of that because I knew I was going to be set up, or I didn't know at the time, but now I know that I was set up to hopefully help individuals like you not have to go through the same pain that I went through. Because I will make one assumption, and there's a whole lot of people that say you should never assume anything. Well, my assumption is this, and I'm going to make this assumption pretty much every time I do these webinars, is I assume every single person in here has a desire to trade and invest in some way. Meaning, if that's the case, you are going to go out, you're going to open up an account, you're going to try to trade and invest. You just are. And I think that's a fair assumption. If that's the case, then it is my responsibility to hopefully help you do that and set you up with the right tools so you can succeed. Because this is a zero-sum game. For every winner, there's a loser. And the ones that are winning are the ones with the education, ones with the knowledge and the skills. And this business is simple, very simple. Here's the holy grail. If you want to write this down, you can. You want to know how to trade well? You find those who are good at trading, and then you mimic what they do. That's it. There you go. There you go. That's it. And so I know that, and I'm glad I'm here because we are really good at what we do. Another thing you got to think about, and again, you can write this down if you want. Why is this important to you? Why is this important? It's important to understand. Okay, I'm here because I want to be a good investor. I want to make more money. I want to, fire my job, right? I want to get to a point of being financially independent, but why? And there's a bigger why. For me, my why was I learned on, early in life that I wasn't all that good at a lot of things, but I knew if I made my money work harder for me, the money I have and the money I'm going to make work harder for me, then I'll be able to do the things I want to do in life eventually. And I also realized I'm not meant to work for somebody. That was just me. So you got to understand, or you got to ask yourself, and I think it's important. You can write this down or type it in if you want, but why is this important? And then how will it affect you and your family long term? And for me, it's about legacy. I have 2 sons, and they're 15 and 13, and for me, it's about legacy. I want to be able to pass things down, knowledge and assets and things down to them, and that's very, very important to me. Now, you get all these things and you accomplish all that. Why are you here? Because you want to generate more income. The way we believe you do that at Market Traders Institute is pretty simple. You have to have a systematic process. And when I say system, I don't mean just some magic buy-sell signal, even though there are some very powerful sets of systems and indicators. I'm going to show you one of those. In fact, probably the most powerful system I've ever seen in my life today. But what you really need to do is you need to find a process and a way to save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. And the reason this is so vitally important is because this business is amazing, and it is, in fact, everything that you want it to be. All your goals and all your dreams and aspirations can in fact become true. But it's also frustrating for me, somebody who's a professional, because I know that my next door neighbor, if they wanted to, they could just go out and open up an account and bam, automatically they're a professional trader. And that's sad, because the reality is they're probably going to fail without proper education. And so this business will take a lot of your time, it'll take a lot of your energy and money, and it will stress you out like no other if you don't do it right. But on the flip side of that, it can and should be one of the greatest things you've ever do. And I'm glad, again, that you're here, because this is the first step. Now, again, as I've said, we're going to get to it in a second. I'm going to go into a lot of different charts. I've got a couple trade setups that I want to show you. And I'm going to show you my process that I've went through and that I've mastered over the last 17 years. And then I'm going to take that process and I'm going to flip it on its head and say, you know what? Don't forget everything I just said, but there's a much easier way. And I'm going to show you a much easier way towards the end. But again, it's students like Samson, who was up 2,437 pips in 1 week. And Marcelo, if you think about this, what is 3,100 pips in a month? Well, that's, depending on your account size, that is, or depending on the type of trader you are, the lot size, that could be anywhere from $31,000 within a month, $3,100, or $310. And it takes a very small account size to generate those type of returns. It's amazing. And it is, I have to say, because I have to believe we probably have a lot of stock and options traders in here. Currencies are different than stock and options, and different than futures. Different than futures because you don't need that large of an account. In fact, you can start with an account size of $50, or even lower in some places. But then it's different than options in that you don't have pattern day or stock and options, because you don't have pattern day trading requirements. Meaning, I can take a buy and sell. I can take 100 trades today if I wanted to. And I don't need a certain account size to be able to do that. So it opens up the world of trading much, much more to individual traders than the other asset classes do. And again, just to show you some more examples, we have Lennox, 415 pips in 1 morning on a standard bot. In a standard bot, again, I'll explain this all in depth in a second here, but a standard bot, Lennox would need I have no clue what type of contracts he traded, but let's say that he traded a standard bot. He would have needed $2,000 in his account to take this trade. If he made 450, that means that he made $4,150 on a standard buy on a $2,000 account. Say it another way, he turned his $2,000 account into a $6,150 account in 1 day. Now that is the power. Now I'm not advising you guys to go out there and trade like that, but that is the power of what the currency markets can allow. It's great leverage. It's an amazing asset class. So I make one promise. And my main promise is this, is by the end of this presentation, you're going to see exactly how Joshua Martinez and many, many, many students out there with Joshua Martinez's mentorship are earning over 3,000 pips every single month. You're going to see a proven, not a hypothetical, right? Because here's what I would be thinking if I were sitting in your shoes. I'd be like, okay, all of this is all good and great. That's awesome. You show me these really nice, strategies and indicators and ways. Show me the money. Where's the proof? Where's the proof of performance? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a real track record. That's up over 25,000 pips. And I'm going to explain all this in a second here. And that wins over 72% of its trade. So if you think about that, that's over $250,000 of potential profit since February and a win rate of 72%. I'm going to show you it all in real time. I'm going to show you it's a live account, real account. And it's the exact style and the exact way that Joshua Martinez is teaching his students to trade. It's also, you're going to see a very logical, simple, step-by-step process on this in this strategy. It's called leveling. It's called leveling. So I want to get to know you guys a little bit, and participation would be awesome. I'm going to do kind of a scale of 1 to 10, right? 10 being I'm the greatest currency Forex trader in the world. You know what? I've got it all taken care of. I'm amazing. And 1 being I thought this was a cooking webinar, or I don't even know why I'm here. I clicked on the wrong link or something like that. And so 1, I know nothing. 10, I know a lot. If I can have you just type in, it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong answer. Just type in kind of where you think you are right now. And just so I can get an idea of the crowd, I want to make sure that I don't go over everybody's head, and I want to make sure that I don't I want to keep it valuable too. We've got some 1s, we've got a 5 and 2. Okay, good. All right, so we've got a decent mix here. So here's what I want to start with. Bill's 4. Okay, so here's what I want to start with. I just want to start with some of the basics, okay? This is a live chart. This is called the Ultimate Charting Package, and this is, you're going to get access to this at the end of this presentation. All of you are going to have the ability to get access to this. Now, with this, what I'm looking at here is the New Zealand versus the Japanese yen. So currencies are traded in what's called pairs, right? So when let's say I wanted to sell the New Zealand versus the Japanese yen, what that means is I'm expecting the New Zealand dollar to go down, or it's called the Kiwi to go down against the Japanese yen. Or vice versa, if I wanted to buy the New Zealand yen, it basically means that I'm trading the New Zealand, and I'm looking for the New Zealand's to strengthen against the Japanese yen. So they're traded in pairs, and it's important. And this is a daily chart, so I assume a lot of you probably know, and maybe I shouldn't assume this, but these are candlesticks. We teach on a lot of candlesticks, but with the strategy I'm going to show you today, Joshua Martinez has kind of changed the way that traders are looking at the markets. He's no longer teaching most of his concepts off of candlesticks. He's teaching a lot off of line charts. But these candlesticks essentially represent, the full price action of high to low, open, close of one day. And a lot of students kind of get a little confused with candlestick formations. And I don't want anybody in here to get confused. And then over here you'll see this moving up and down. Right now is a very, very slow time in the market. In fact, the rollover is happening in 2 minutes. But the markets are open. It's open 24 hours a day. It's got about a little time, about a minute rollover at about 5 p.m. Eastern. And it opens on Sunday night and it closes on Friday. And so it's basically open all day. So it fits within a lot of people's schedule too. So I want to just kind of give you an example. Let's say that you would have, and we had a lot of students take this trade. What if you would have went short, meaning let's say you sold the New Zealand yen 3 days ago, right at the beginning of the week. You sold it, and you're now price is here. Well, what I want you to do is look over here. Right here tells you the range in pips. Those are pips. So that's 146 pips. Now, what does this mean? If you would have taken that trade plus 146 pips, what that means is this. That means if you've got a couple different ways you can trade this. On a micro lot, a trader needs $20 in their account per micro lot. So on this trade, if you would have taken this trade on a $20 micro lot, the pip size, so the amount of money that you make per pip, is 10 cents per pip. So on this would be 10 cents per pip times the number of pips that you would be up. So you'd be up 146 pips. So it'd be 10 cents per pip times 146 pips equals, this trade would be up $14 $14.60. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, $14.60, what in the world? I mean, that's like such a small amount of money. It is, but I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that in relation to the amount of money you had to put up for that trade. Now, you don't lose this $20. That $20 doesn't decay. It's not like options where it decays. That's your money. So when you close this position, if you closed it right now, you would get the $20 back that you put up for margin and the $14.60 that you have in profit. And now your account just went from $20 to $34.60. Now that's on a micro lot. There's also something that's called a mini lot. A mini lot, a trader needs $200 in their account per contract, per mini lot contract. Now, on a mini lot, every pip is worth $1. That means this trade at 146 pips would be up $146 in 3 days. Now we're starting to get a little better. Now, as traders start to progress in their skills and they start to progress in their knowledge of the markets, they go from micros to minis to standards. And once you get the standard lots, this is when it gets exciting. Because a standard lot trader would need, a trader would need, needs $2,000 in their account, which you keep, that's just put up for margin. It doesn't have a decay effect like options. $2,000 in your account to trade one standard lot. Now, every pip for a standard lot is worth $10. So this move for 146 pips would have been equivalent to a $1,460 move in a matter of 3 days. So if you think about this, you could have taken one trade, and we have a lot of traders that were actually in this trade. I'll kind of show you why in a second here. But a lot of traders were in this trade, and depending on if you were a micro lot trader, and I know a lot of traders, when you first start out, you're going to start small, right? And you don't need to have a lot of large account. If you had a $50 account, you can trade, buy and sell 100 times today, and they're not going to restrict you or close your account or freeze your account because you're taking too many trades. That doesn't happen in the currency markets. And so this trade here, you would have made $14.60, putting up $20 in the trade. That would have been great. But I just wanted to show you the power of this one move. This 3-day move essentially could have generated $1,460 of profits on one standard lot. Now, we have a lot of that trade more than one standard lot. We have traders that trade 2 standard lots, 4 standard lots, 20 standard lots. Because the liquidity in the currency markets are so high, it's such a liquid market that there's almost unlimited liquidity, meaning you can get filled. If you have a large enough account, you can get filled on a huge number of lots. Now again, leverage cuts both ways. You've got to be careful with leverage. But I just wanted to show you the power of that. So that's kind of when I'm talking about pips, that's how it's all spelled out. So the same move, we had some traders that could have traded it with a micro lot, mini lot, or standard lot. All right. So now let me get into some of the process that I use when I find trades. So when I'm finding trades, I need to do a few things. I need to, one, and this is probably the biggest thing, is I need to find direction, right? I need to know which direction the market is moving in. That's like number one. Number two, I need to have a way that I can, enter, so entry. And number three, I need to manage risk. So if you don't get anything from today, there's a few things that I want you to get. These are the 3 steps to finding a successful trade, and now you have to come up with a very logical way in doing those things, checking those boxes off. But you need to have a very logical, clear-cut way to figure out what direction are you moving in, and then how do you enter, and then how do you manage risk. And all of this is easier said than done. But I'm going to show you a very kind of a complex way to do it, which is the way that I've been doing it for years and years and years and years. And then I'm going to show you a way that's been developed because of the tools and the knowledge that's been put into an algorithm that kind of eliminates all of the analysis that I've done for years. It eliminates the need to do all of that, and it's a decision-making tool that is actually extremely, extremely powerful and very profitable historically. But really, these are the three things. If you don't get anything, this is what I want you to get. Check off, make sure you can check off all three of these things before you place any trade. You got to make sure that you know which direction you're moving in and why. Then how are you going to enter? Okay, if we're moving down, well, where do you enter? Right? And then how do I manage risk? And so I'll give you some of my rules. Well, first of all, direction. I base my direction off of what's called, and this is what I've done historically. I'm going to show you the complex way. I base my direction off of what's called the daily major AB fib. Now, this is a complex way of defining direction because if I look here, we can have a fib sequence down, and I'm not going to go into a ton of details on the fib sequences, but we teach this, but we have a fib sequence down. Well, this whole fib sequence down was valid until this A right here, and AB down, until that was taken out. And then we have this whole sequence down until that A was taken out. So what's called the major fib sequence, where the true AB major fib sequence is, which is actually fairly difficult to get to if you don't really have an idea and you're not used to doing fib sequences, is right here. This is the true, what's called the true or major AB sequence down. And so this is a process. I'm going to show you a process that I used to go through, and then I'm going to give you an idea of a process that's much easier and still yet just as profitable. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to keep these three things in mind. So direction. What I know is this. If we are in an A-B down, the market moves in waves. So if I'm in an A-B down, if the market has put in at least a 382 retracement of this A-B down, then I know that my direction is down. And what the market should be doing is it should be moving A, B, C, D. So if I've got an A, B, this is my projected or expected C. We should be moving down to our D extension, down to the 1618 extension down there. So again, A, B, C, D. So this gives me my bias or my direction that I want to trade in to the downside. Again, this is a fairly complex way to do it. I'm going to go into the shorter time frames, and we're going to set up a trade, and then I'm going to have you think about all of this in a very simplistic way. But type in a wire yes if that makes a little bit of sense why I have a downward bias. Because I'm in an A, B, this is my C, I'm looking for my D extension down to this 1618 extension down here. So I've got a bearish bias. So now, from this point, what I do is now I got to go to the smaller time frame, and I've got to then pinpoint my entries. I've got my direction to the downside. Now I need to pinpoint my entries. So now I'm going to go, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to the 1 hour. So I go from the daily to the 1 hour. And in this 1 hour, what I want to do is I want to, again, follow the rules. I know I have my direction, which is down. And then to add kind of, some increase my confidence in this trade, what I do is I want to make sure that the 60-minute AB sequence is in the same direction as the daily sequence. So I got that. So we've got the 60-minute that's in an AB down. This was Brexit, by the way. If you're wondering how that big move happened, that was a Brexit move. So we got the 60-minute that's in an AB down. We got the daily that's in an AB down. So that's good. That increases my confidence in this trade. And that gives me a more clear direction to the downside. Now that I have that, now I want to pinpoint my entries. And so again, the way that I pinpoint my entries is I use what's called sub-fibs. And again, I want everybody to understand what I'm showing you right now is a complex way to do everything that I do as a professional trader, the way that I generate income. You don't have to do any of this. All of this has been solved with technology, and I'm going to show you in a second. But in this trade here, I trade sub-fibs. The reason why traders have been short, and I have personally been short the New Zealand yen for multiple days, is because we have this major down AB right here. We have this sub down AB right here. So what I am expecting is price to go A, B, C. It's going down to its D extension down to 72.50. That's where it's going, right there. And I've been short. And I've been short ever since this AB put in a 382 retracement. This has been a really good trade. Now I'm starting to take off some of the trade and lock in some of the profits. And if, let's say I was not in this trade at this time. How would I get into this trade? Is it too far into the move, or is there a way that I can get in down to my target? Well, there is a way that I can get in down to my target. And again, using the complex ways, I can pull in what's called even more sub-fibs right here. So this right here is a sub-fib, AB down. That's taking us down to 72.50. So I can mark that, 72.50. I'm going to type all this out in a second here. I can mark this 72.50. This is going to be a trade that I've already taken some of my profits, and I'm going to get back into the full size of the trade in a second here. So I've got this AB down. It's going down to 72.50. I've got this sub AB down. That also should, once it hits a 382 retracement, it should reverse and go down to its extension down here. So that's all good stuff. I also have, again, let's use some more complex things. I also have right in here what's called a bear crown. This whole entire area up here is kind of the crowning or center tip. And what we look here, what we look to potentially have is the formation of the right tip. And then that should take us, that's called a bear crown, not to get confused by a head and shoulders. And again, this is the complex way. I'm going to show you a very easy way to do all this. And what we know is if we're going to put in a crowning formation like this, what tends to happen is when price rallies up to find the right tip, which is what we're looking for, a lot of times it will rally up towards the backside of the trend line that it broke, and then that will cause our next fall. Right there. So I've got my direction down. I can't now, if I was just using novice way, I would just enter into the trade right now. But nope, I'm not going to just enter into the trade because of all the complex technicals that are going on here. So the trade that I would set up would be this. Again, I'm going to show you a very easy way, but this would be a trade that I would set up if I was just looking at the complex way. I would say, okay, I'm waiting for price to rally up, probably towards this 1618 up in here. In a second, let me make sure if I get in at that 1618, I can have about a 55 pip stop and about 110. So it would be about a 2-to-1 trade. That's decent. It's not perfect, but it's decent. In fact, you know what? I'm going to raise my entry point because if we look here, we have what's called a level of confluence. Again, I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm going to show you a strategy where this is all very easy. So level of confluence is, this is a 1618 extension down here. Well, this AB here, if it goes up to the 86 retracement, look at where the 118 is. It's almost identical. So where in the world do you think price is heading to? Probably this 118. That's going to be my next shorting opportunity down to 72.50. So here's my trade. If I was setting it up like this, I'd put my stop about, I would say about 5 to 10 pips above this A here, so 74, I'll say 74.20 would be my stop. My target would be down to 72.50. And my sell zone, and I'll type all this out so you can take a snapshot of this. My sell zone would be right in here. That would be my sell zone because of the level of confluence, because of the fact that we have a daily down AB, we have a 60-minute down AB, we look to be putting this bearish crowning formation in. And I've got a lot of technicals telling me we're going to go up there and then fall. So this is a trade. If we think about this trade, if I do get into this trade, I am looking to short right at about 73.95. Let's say 73.95 is my target, or my entry point, 73.95. So if I get in at 73.95 and my target is 72.50, that's 145 pips worth of profit. So profit equals 145 pips. Risk equals, if I get in at 73.95 and my stop is at 74.20, well, that's a 25 pip risk. Pips. So I'm risking 25 pips to make 145 pips on a trade that I'm in a down AB on a daily, down AB on a 60-minute, and I'm shorting at what's considered to be a high price. So this is a brilliant trade because I have to, if I'm wrong, let's say I'm wrong 6 times out of 10 and I'm right 4 times. Well, that means 6 times I'm going to lose 25 pips. It's 150 pips. But the other 4 times, I'm going to make 145, and I'm going to make 580 pips. So I don't have to be right. This is a pretty high probability trade. I don't have to be right that often with this trade. Now, this is the complex way to structure a trade. This is the complex way that I've structured trades for many, 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 many years that are very profitable. I want to show you a way now, I'll let you take a snapshot of this, but I want to show you a way to do everything that I've just done in a much simpler, and instead of having to do drill down analysis, how can I get direction, entries, manage risk, all that with a snapshot. So here's the trade that I would be looking to in the complex way. So looking to short at between 73, 75, and 74, 14, target 72.50, 74, 20. That is the complex way of trading. This is a phenomenal trade. I love this trade. Now let me ask you a question. I'd like all of you to answer this if you could. What if you could find a trade setup like this, where we're looking to short because we're in a down A/B. We want to short at a high price. Wait until we get to a high price. We want to put risk to reward in our favor. What if I could find a trade setup that's just as good as this, but like infinitely easier to find, and infinitely easier and faster to define whether I should be trading it in that direction or not? Type in ME if you would like to see that strategy. And as you're typing that in, let me show you an example, and let me show you the reason why every single person in here should be typing ME. It's real simple, because here is the performance of Joshua Martinez's leveling. This is a slow growth strategy, okay? So slow growth. Joshua Martinez since February 3rd is up 25,365 pips with the strategy I'm about ready to show you. I want you to think about what that means. That means that he's averaging almost 700 pips per week. That's $7,000 on a standard lot. We have many, many, many of our students that have turned very small accounts into amazing accounts in a very short amount of time because of what Joshua Martinez has created. And so this is a great trade. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this, all of this, in a very easy to understand and easy to execute strategy called leveling. So let me show you. I'm going to start on the 1 hour, and I'm going to go to the New Zealand yen. And what I want to do is I'm going to show you how Joshua Martinez teaches this. Joshua Martinez teaches this in a way, and he flips it kind of on its head. He says, listen, we don't need to use the candlesticks anymore because they confuse students. And what we want to do is we want to eliminate any confusion. Confusion costs traders money. It's also fairly confusing on the way that I find the trades, the way that I find my trend based on the major AB sequence. It's confusing. There are students out there, many, many, many students out there that cannot duplicate what I just did. And that's an issue. Because I'm not here to just hand you trades. Josh isn't here to just hand you trades. We're here to help students and help people become professional traders. And if this is a great trade, here's the issue. Let's say that this trade here sets up, it ends up going up to my level where I want to short, and then I short it down here, and it's a great trade, and there's a lot of students who make a lot of money on it. But out of 100 students that take this trade, there's only 3 of you that can actually duplicate this and do this again tomorrow. And you know what? We failed. I failed. If that's the case, I failed. Because what I want is I want 100 students to be able to take a trade like this and be able to find a trade like this and then do it again tomorrow. Type in a wire yes if you understand what I'm saying. It's no good if you can't duplicate it. It is going to be a great trade, but it's not going to be great if you can't do it yourself time and time and time again. Right? So here's what Josh does. He flips this on his head and he says, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to teach students, instead of looking at candlesticks, let's teach them how to look at line charts. And the reason we're going to teach students how to look at line charts is because they're clean. They're clear. Now my question to you here is this. If all you did was look at this line chart and all you did was sell every time you had a trend line break, or every time that, let's say, price was moved slightly higher and then it broke lower, if that's all you did, yes or no, do you think over the course of the last few days to few weeks, do you think you could have made some money? 100% yes. In fact, you could have made, I mean, this was worth 40, 50 pips here. This was worth 50, 60 pips, 40, 50, 60 pips there. Probably 30, 40 pips there, 30, 40 pips here. Maybe a stop there. Yep, we take stops every once in a while. Another 30, 40 pips there, 20, 30 there, 20, 30 there, 40, 50 there. Absolutely 100% yes. Now here's the issue. I think every single one of you can look at this and say, yeah, I totally could have made a lot of money here. In fact, just these examples right here, you could have probably made an average of about probably 40 pips, and probably would have taken one stop of about maybe 20 pips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you would have had probably 9 wins of 40 pips. That's 360 pips, and then you would have had 1 loss of 20. So you probably would have been up a net of, just hypothetically speaking, just by looking at this picture, would have been up a net of probably 300 to 350 pips since the second week in September. So that's $3,500 on one currency pair. This is one currency pair. Now, the question that needs to be going through everybody's mind is, yes, Tyson, but. Yeah, but. How in the world did I know I need to short, right? Anybody thinking that? Type it in me if you're thinking, yeah, but Tyson, how do you know you need to short? What if I was trying to buy? If I was trying to buy, I would have lost money. What if instead I was trying to buy these counter trend line breaks? Like I was trying to buy here and here and here. I would have taken some losses. I would have lost. This one would have lost. This one would have lost. That one would have lost. That one probably would have lost. This one probably. So Tyson, come on, get real. How do we know which direction to trade in? Because yeah, you could look at that and say, yep, you could have made money, but how did you know you needed to be a seller? How did you know you needed to be a seller, Tyson? So what I'm going to show you is the most powerful indicator you will ever probably see. And I say that not because I want you to believe it. I say it because it's what I believe. It's literally one of the most powerful indicators you will ever see. In fact, it's one of those indicators that if you put on your charts and all you do is trade with this indicator, it's pretty amazing. And by the way, this also works on stocks, for those that like to trade stocks and options. It's called the FX Finder. So remember everything that I just did in the New Zealand yen, and I defined my trend on the daily and the 60-minute, I drilled down. Remember all that? And then I got to the conclusion that I want to short up here. And remember all that complexity? No more. No more. Because within this FX Finder, so I'm going to put on what's called the FX Finder. And all I want you to do is look at these red arrows down. So if the arrows are red, and those are red arrows, if the arrows are red, then guess what? You need to sell. On the flip side, if the arrows are green, let me show you pound Aussie. If the arrows are green, and then I'm going to show you the trade or a trade in the pound or the New Zealand yen, it's much easier. If the arrows are green, for example, here on the pound Aussie, you turn green. All you do is buy. Now, if I knew that if the arrows on the FX Finder are red, all I do is sell counter trend lines. That's all I have to do if they're red. Now my question, if I go back to the New Zealand yen, now my question is, could you have, if you would have known that, and you would have seen that, okay, we're getting red on the FX Finder telling me the exact direction I need to trade in. Now my question is, could you have gotten in and known, okay, now I need to continue to short. I'm not going to look to buy into the counter trend line breaks. I'm going to only short counter trend line breaks all the way down until the FX Finder turns green. When do I stop selling? Well, I stop selling once the FX Finder turns green. Until then, I generate income, as much income as I possibly can, until it turns green. Now, that trade, that complex trade that I just set up, I didn't have to do any of that. With the FX Finder, it's all done for me. Now all I have to do, I know exactly which direction price is trading in. I need to be a seller. What I need to do is I need to wait for price to move higher. I need to then draw a trend line here. And when we get that next trend line break, let's say it looks like that, I need to sell. And then I need to put my stop. And Joshua Martinez teaches this exact process. This is the income process. And I'm going to show you there's two main strategies when it comes to the leveling course. And then there's a third strategy that ties it all together. But the two main strategies, the number one strategy is called income. So how we generate income. So the income trade for this would be wait for this to rally up at a high price, have a trend line break, put my stop 15 pips above the U-turn, target 3 times that. I have a trade. I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I don't have to do the complex analysis like I did. I just have to wait for this to rally up to a higher price or have a trend line break, a clear trend line break, put my stop 15 pips above the high, target 3 times that, and I'm done. And now if I would have done that, if that's all I would have done on this trade here, then I would have sat there and generated income on the New Zealand yen this entire time. On every single one of these trend line breaks, you could have generated income, and just sat there and generated income the entire time as the FX Finder is read. Now, the beautiful thing about this strategy is it's built for, as I've mentioned, generating income and generating wealth. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to go to the pound Aussie, and I'm going to show you this works on every single currency pair. Now, I'm going to type this out. So the income generation strategy is, yep, you guessed it, very simple, because all I do is when we're getting red on the FX Finder, I just short counter trend line breaks down. That's all I do. So what am I doing right now? I'm waiting for price to move up to a higher price, and then I'm going to short on a counter trend line break. That's it. Did anybody hear about the Great British Pound catastrophic huge sell-off last Thursday in the Great British Pound? Type it in me if you heard about it. It sold off about 6.5% in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That was this day right here. Right here. Look at what would have caught this. Look at what strategy would have been red. You were red. You should have been looking to short on a counter trend line break. Let's go back and let's right before the news, right here. This was before, it wasn't even news, by the way. It literally wasn't even news. But let's say that you were trading and you were in this area right here. And you were like, okay, well, what do I do? Well, we've got red arrows down. I'm trying to generate some income for me and my family. I take a trend line. I can see, okay, we're sitting at a higher price. And Josh will teach you how to draw the proper trend lines, how to get in at the proper areas, and then look to short on a trend line break. Well, then let's say I went short. I'm holding the position. And all of a sudden, bam. I need everybody in here. Type it in me if you can clearly see the FX Finder would have, and you should have been in this move, and you could have produced 375 or more. I mean, heck, this thing continued to just absolutely crush down. Huge, but huge, huge, huge money to be made in this. And it would have been, you could have traded, literally just traded the FX Finder for this. So the income strategy, hopefully I've made it as clear as I can, is literally trading only in the direction of the arrows and then buying and selling the trend line breaks in that direction. So for example, I showed you the shorts. Well, let's look at the long, right? I know some of you are thinking, well, it works on the sell side, does it work on the long side? Well, you got green arrows. If all you did was buy trend line breaks all the way higher, all you have to do is ask yourself, Could you have made money on this ride higher if all you did was buy trendline breaks all the way up as the arrows are green? And the answer is absolutely yes. You could have generated a tremendous amount of money. Now that's income. But I know that there's a lot of you in here that have adult responsibilities. You have other jobs. You have other things you do. On top of the income strategy, there's what's called wealth creation. Because yes, it's about generating income, but it's also about building the wealth for the legacy. I call it legacy money, right? It's money that you're going to have forever, that you're going to let compound and grow. So the income strategy is, how do I generate money today, this week, this month? The wealth building strategy is probably one of my favorite strategies and one of the easiest strategies you'll ever see. And I'm going to just show you a quick example of this. All you do, very simply, is when we turn red, you sell. When we turn green, and you hold it. When you turn green, you buy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to get beyond Brexit, because I don't want to include Brexit, because I don't want anybody to say that, hey, if you would have excluded Brexit, you wouldn't have made that much money. Before I exclude Brexit, I'm sure all of you heard about Brexit. I'm sure all of you kind of know it was the British exit of the European Union, or the vote on the British exit of the European Union. Type of wire yes in the question section if you can clearly see this was the Brexit move. Look at how the FX Finder turned red right before the Brexit announcement. Boom. Holy smokes. This move here was good for 1,300 pips. That's $13,000 on a standard lot if you would have caught that one move. But you know what? We're not going to count that. We're going to say that you got this strategy. I'm going to invite everybody in here in a second to get the strategy. Let's say that you wanted to generate income, and you got this strategy after Brexit. And all you did was set this up on a couple of your favorite pairs, and the pound Aussie is one of those, let's say, and you just started trading this in the direction of the FX Finder. So if it was green, you were a buyer. If it was red, you were a seller. So we're going to start here. So you would have started, it turned green, or it turned red here. You would have then traded it down to here. This would have been good for about 700 pips. It then would have flipped green. So I'm going to type this out. This would have been good. This first trade would have been good for 700 pips. This is all after Brexit. You then would have flipped green. You would have had a quick green for probably about 60 pips, and then another 60 pips down, and probably about 200 up. So I'm going to say 60 pips. Another 60 pips here. 60 pips. And then on the upside there was about 200 pips. And then I get the question every once in a while, and it would be going through my mind too. This is about 200 pips. Does it ever take stops? This is a highly, highly profitable strategy. Like very high win rate. In fact, if you look, Joshua Martinez is winning at 72%. He's up 25,000 pips using this strategy. Yes, it does. This trade right here, this one right here, would have been a loser. You would have lost probably about 75 pips on this trade right here, this short. So negative 75 pips. So, yep, you would have lost. Then you would have followed that up with, more likely, well, you would have flipped long, and you would have followed it up with about 140 pip win. Then, every once in a while, and this happens more often than I'd like to say every once in a while, this happens a lot, you'll do what I call home run trades. This here, that trade would have produced 800 pips. 800 pips. All you did was push the button, and by the way, I want everybody to understand this. This can also be automated. Imagine that. Imagine pushing a button on this and having these trades automatically fire where you're off, you're doing your thing. This entire process, it's actually a little bittersweet for me because I've spent 17 years of my life perfecting what the FX Finder is doing. And now all of you traders get access to this literally by clicking a button. You're going to do just as powerful analysis that I've dedicated my life to do. The reason why is simple. It's because the advancement of technology, right? I mean, 100 years ago, we were driving, 200 years ago, we were horse and buggy. We couldn't imagine, going to California from Minnesota to California in a matter of, 3 hours, 4 hours. Yeah, right. That takes, a month, or 2 months, 3 months. In fact, you're going to die if you try to do it through horse and buggy. Now it's, boom, advancements in technology has allowed us to take everything that I know, all what Josh knows, the professionals know, and put it into this strategy. So this one here, look at this, 840 pips. And then this last one, you would be short, and you'd be currently up about 1,500, about 1,600 pips. 840. So this one right here would be 840. 140 pips. And this current short would be up 1,600 pips. 1,600 pips. This is the long-term wealth set and forget strategy. So we have traders, what they do is they combine the long-term wealth strategy, this strategy, with income. So they'll take the long-term positions like this. So let's do the math on this. You would have taken, since after Brexit, you would have a 700 pip win. 120, I'm just going to add these two 60s together. We had 200. Then you would have lost 75, all right, because it's not perfect. Then you would have made back 140. Then you would have had 3 home runs, an 800 pip, an 840 pip, and a 1,600 pip. And so your first trade would have started at the end of June, since about June 30th. So since June 30th, up, what was it? Up 4,325 pips. Up 4,325 pips. That's equivalent to $43,250 on a standard lot. What did you have to do? Well, it's pretty simple. We had traders that have set this up, literally taking these trades and just plugged it in automatically. But all you're doing is selling when it's red, buying when it's green. It's a stop and reverse, buy and sell strategy. That's the income strategy. Now, as you were generating these 1,600 pips here, you could have been generating more income by selling counter trend line breaks that Joshua Martinez spends 3 days per week, 3 days every single week, 2 hours every single day that he trades for 3 days a week. He trades these income trades with you. So now here's my question. My question to you is this. Which way do you think is easier? The first way that I set up, this trade here in the New Zealand yen, which is a good high quality trade, or this style right here, which is easier? It's obvious. Well, obviously, a strategy number 2, the leveling strategy with the FX Finder, is much, much easier. Now the question is, well, is it as profitable? And the answer is, I'd love to tell you my process is more profitable. It's not. This is more profitable. The FX Finder is the most profitable strategy. The leveling course is the most profitable strategy I've seen. Joshua Martinez is up 25,000 pips since February. This is a real deal. This isn't hypothetical. This isn't like, oh, what it could have, should have. This is real money. It's real. 25,000 pips. And here's the beautiful thing about this 25,000 pips, is he's doing it all in front of students. And so what Josh is doing, and I'm going to give everybody an opportunity here in a second. Josh is giving you the strategy. He's giving you the charts. He's giving you the FX Finder. And he's teaching you the strategy. But unlike everybody else that says, hey, here's an amazing strategy, good luck. Josh is doing all that, and because we're doing something very special, it was Columbus Day yesterday, because we're doing something very special today, what you're going to do on top of that is you're going to get access to trade with Josh for the rest of the year, 3 days per week, every single week for the rest of the year. You're going to trade with Josh. And on top of that, so we're going to give you the strategy, the charts, trade with Josh through the rest of the year. On top of that, what if we could make everything that I just said, what if we can guarantee that you will see some success? You will guarantee you see us pulling out a pretty substantial amount of money, or there is zero risk to you. Well, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to make this a no-brainer, zero risk to you, because that's how much we believe in this. Now, I've already went over the performance, but let's just recap some of this. 25,000 pips since February. Now, what if you were generating 25,000 pips? We have students that were. Now, you have the access and the ability to be a part of that. That's 3,000 pips a month. On a standard lot, that's $30,000 a month. On a mini lot, and there's a lot of traders that trade mini lots, that's $3,000 of extra income per month by learning the strategy that you're going to now have forever. He's placed 491 trades, so it's not like a small sample size. It's a big sample. This is a big sample size. It's not like somebody said, you know, hey, you know, I'm really good, you know, sometimes. No, this is 491 trades, and out of those 491, he's right 72% of the time. Listen, traders, investors, please, I gotta say this. I'm really, really, really good at what I do. Really good at what I do. This leveling course is better than I am. In fact, I've started to adopt a lot of it, and I want to just show you my performance. I'm up 22,000 pips since June. And I will attribute a lot of my performance. This is my real account. We are the real deal. A lot of this performance I will attribute to Joshua's leveling technique. This is amazing. So here's the deal. I want everybody to please pay attention. This has just been announced. I normally don't talk to and don't do a whole lot of webinars in front of non-Market Trader Institute students. Market Traders Institute believes in the fact that we do not leave students behind. All of you are here to generate income and to become a professional trader. Now, I want to tell you something real fast before I go into the details. I just want you to know that I don't want you to have cost or circumstances get in the way of you mastering this business, because here's why. Here's why. Because once you master this business, like the leveling course will help you do and get you to that point, once you do it, all of your other fears, your aspirations, your financial goals are taken care of. They just are. I don't worry about the U.S. election. I don't worry about the economy. I care. I do care about who gets elected. I do care about the economy because I have loved ones. I have this skill. I have a skill that I don't worry about those things because I know that I can generate income for me and my family because of the skills that I have. And now it's never been more powerful and more easy for traders to duplicate the success that we have because of the FX Finder, because of the leveling course that Joshua Martinez puts on. It's amazing. I absolutely love being with this company. Now here's what we're going to do. In a minute, I'm going to offer this to every single person in here. I don't want anybody in here to miss this opportunity because it's going to be huge. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to do some very special guarantees. You're going to get access to all three strategies, which is the income strategy, the wealth building strategy, and then the strategy number 3, which is leveling, that ties it all together. You're going to get unlimited access to attend the classes as many times as you want. You can attend it 25 times if you want. You're going to get the ultimate charts. It says for 2 months. We're actually going to let you have the ultimate charts for the rest of the year. So almost 3 months you're going to be able to have the ultimate charts absolutely free. And yet we're actually doing this, but this won't last. This is a Columbus Day special only. The next class is this Friday at 1 p.m. And it's very, very important for all of you to be in this course because the opportunities that are presenting themselves in the FX markets, in the currency markets, are huge. Movements like we got last week in the Great British Pound, we're projecting movements like that to happen on a consistent basis. Now, if you would have been in that one movement last week, you could have made $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 last week. Last week on that one trade alone. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this such a no-brainer for everybody. When you decide, if you decide to go forward with this, if you decide that you want to have Joshua Martinez teach you how to trade like a professional, teach you how to generate $2,000, $3,000 pips, that's $2,000, $3,000 or $20,000, $30,000 every month, month in and month out, systematically, consistently, and learn something that you can do for the rest of your life, we're going to do something as a bonus. We're going to give you Joshua Martinez's mentorship for free. For free. Joshua Martinez does 3 mentorship trading sessions every single week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We have students that pay $900 to $1,000 every single month to get mentored by Josh. But for you guys, you're going to get it for free. You're not going to pay a dime for this. When you decide to go into the leveling course and you get the FX Finder, you get the course, you're going to be mentored by Joshua Martinez because this is his baby. He wants every one of the leveling students to have unbelievable, life-changing success. And so for that, we're going to let you be mentored under Josh starting now, starting Thursday for the rest of the year, absolutely free. Now, if you think about it, that's a $2,400 value that you're going to get for free. We're going to make it better because here's what I know. Like, I'm going to put myself in your guys' shoes, right? I know money doesn't grow on trees. I get it. But I also know all of you are here to learn how to trade. I want you guys to please hear me on this. I know every person in here, I hate to say this, but I know it's true. Everybody in here is going to trade. The ones that decide to go in this course, your chances of success are going to exponentially move higher. I'm talking to get a systematic process, to get the education, and then get the mentorship. It's huge. Now, I also know that some of you are going to automatically disqualify yourself just because you're going to look at the cost and say, oh, I can't do it. Please don't do that. I'm telling you, if there's a will, we will work with you. There's a way. And here's what we're going to do to kind of take the risk off of you. So here's what we're going to do before you even think about price. What we're going to do is this. We are going to guarantee that we will show you 400 pips of opportunity. That's $4,000. I want you to think about this. $4,000 of trading opportunities will be shown to you live in the markets by Josh in the mentoring sessions over the course of the next 60 days. And if we do not show you 400 pips worth of opportunities, then you get all your money back. Now, I want you to think about this. That would be like me owning a Lamborghini dealership, because this is the Lamborghini of trading right here. This is it. Rolls Royce right here. It would be like me owning a Lamborghini dealership, and let's say you wanted to come and buy a car from me. Like, hey, I want to buy this, this Murcielago. Okay, great. And I say, okay, you can buy it from me, but here's the deal. I'll let you go. You go ahead and take this Murcielago. You go take it for a spin for 60 days, and not only that, but I'll pay for your gas. I'll fill it up every time you need gas. I'll fill it up for you. And then, for some reason, if you don't think it's fast enough, or you don't think it's good enough, or whatever, just bring it back and we'll give you your money back. That's okay. You're going to be able to consume all of our education, to be able to get the leveling course, to be able to watch Josh trade 3 times a week and literally master the markets. And at the end of it, you can ask for your money back if we don't show you the 400 pips. That's $4,000 of opportunity that we're going to guarantee we're going to show you when you get your money back. The reason we're doing this is simple. We want to put our money where our mouth is, and we're so darn confident that we can get you to a point of accomplishing all your goals. This is it. You guys have been looking for the ticket of success. You've found it. This is it right here. And so this is what we're going to do. We have 2 different options. What you're going to get is this. You are going to get the complete leveling course. It's a $3,000 course by itself. You're going to get 3 full months of the charts, of the ultimate chart, the ones that I were just using. You're going to get 3 months, the full until the end of the year of mentorship of Joshua Martinez in his live leveling room that happens 3 times per week. But you're not going to pay $6,145 because that's what the cost is, and we have a lot of people that have paid that. But what we're going to do is this. We are going to do 2 options. And here's what I want everybody to say. Here's what I want to say, and I want everybody to think about. I don't really care whether you do option A or option B. Now, for me, I would want to save as much money as I possibly can, and I would type in my phone number and I'd figure out what option A is, figure out what option B is, and figure out the payment plans and which one's going to save you money. But I would not let this end. I wouldn't let this end without typing in my phone number right now with either option A or option B, or typing in my phone number with a question mark. Because here's the deal. We are willing to work with you. If you decide to do option B, we're willing to work with you with down payments and payment plans, because we want you to get trading as fast as possible, because your expectations are this. I want you to think about this. Your expectation should be for every trading session you trade with Josh, which is 3 times per week, starting this Thursday, your expectation should be to make a minimum of 200 pips. I believe that there are students in here right now that literally could pay this off, get a return on this investment by the end of this week. And here's the beautiful part about this. If at any time, if for some reason over the next 60 days, if you don't think that we are who we say we are, if you don't think we showed you 400 pips worth of opportunity, get your money back. We're either going to change your financial life or enhance your financial life, or you're going to get your money back and you have nothing to lose. It's absolutely amazing. So I want to encourage every single person here. There's not one person in here that should type in their phone number with either option A or option B. If you're not quite sure, if you want to have conversations with your education specialist, get more details on the timing of the course. The course starts this Friday. So the way your schedule would work would be pretty simple. Your schedule would work on Thursday. You'd be at Josh at 8 a.m. and it goes from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern. You'd be trading with him. You'd be rocking and rolling. You'd hopefully start making some money right away. On Friday, you trade with him again from 8 to 10. You're going to be trading with Josh, and then starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, that's when the leveling course starts. That's when you start putting all of this together. But this is instant access to this strategy. No waiting. Starting right now, you could literally have access to the FX Finder, have access to Joshua Martinez, and be on the same team as him, and he's generating 3,000 pips every single month, like clockwork. Now, if you get to a point of generating 3,000 pips, which is our goal, you get to that point, all of your financial worries, this $2,000 that you spent on this is a drop in the bucket. It's nothing compared to the return on investment that you're going to get. So again, I want to encourage every person in here to type in your phone number right now with either option A, option B, or maybe even a question mark. I have some questions. And understand that when you type your phone number in, it doesn't mean you're automatically giving your credit card out. What it means is you want to have a conversation. What it means is you're stepping out on a limb and you're saying, hey, I know that I don't have all the answers. I know that I just saw a strategy that looks very, very pretty straightforward, pretty simple, pretty powerful, and I see proof that they're generating a huge amount of money. Wow, I should look into this, and we're going to work with you. I want to share this with you real fast. We have some students in here that are reluctant to type in their phone numbers, and it doesn't shock me. There's some of hopefully none of you, but there's a lot of people who I call nugget chasers. And they're just trying to look for. They come to these webinars because they think guys like me are just going to give them that magic trade that's going to solve all their financial problems. It's not going to happen. Education is what solves your financial problems. The only form of expensive education is non-education, is the fact. That's a fact. But here's the deal. These are students right here. These are real students, testimonials. And I want you to imagine being one of these students. I want you to put yourself in one of these students' shoes. What if you were able to generate this week 350 pips, 278 pips, 950 pips, 384 pips? What if you were one of those students? These are all different students typing this in. Or this, 300 pips, 300 pips. We get this, Josh gets this every single day pretty much from students that are changing their lives. Now it's your turn. I can go on, on 200 pips, 1,200 pips, 120 pips, 67 pips, 143, all different students. The question is why in the world aren't you part of this group? Why in the world are you potentially still struggling? Why aren't you trading currencies? And if you are trading currencies, why aren't you trading the greatest strategy you'll ever see, which is leveling? So again, the class starts this Friday. We're going to do everything we can to take the risk off of you. By doing that, we're going to offer Joshua Martinez himself to mentor you. What this means is he's going to hold your hand. He's going to guide you. He's going to walk with you. He's going to show you all the details, step by step, and all the trades that generates him 3,000 pips per month. That's what he's going to do. And you're going to pay nothing from that. On top of that, you're going to see us generate at least 400 pips of opportunity. And if we don't, you get your money back. So if all you did was take Joshua Martinez's trades, if all you did was piggyback off of his over the next 60 days, you're basically going to have a guaranteed return on your investment, or you get your money back. That's really what it is. We're either going to give you a return on your investment, or you're going to get your money back. Bottom line is you're going to learn a whole lot about the markets that you didn't already know. And we're so confident and we're willing to do that simply because we know we're going to show you amazing opportunities, and you're going to be a raving fan of us. You're going to be like those students that are changing their lives. And so here's the option. You have option A, which is a one-time payment. You can just get it done with a one-time payment and say, listen, okay, I'm going to do the $19.95. I'm going to save myself some money. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save myself some money, and I'm going to utilize that money-back guarantee. And if I'm not impressed, I'll give my money back. But if I am impressed, it's the greatest $1,995 I've ever spent in my life. I get the charts. I get the leveling strategy. I get Joshua Martinez. I get everything I need to get a substantial return on my investment. If I need a payment plan, there's not one person in here that we want to leave behind. I don't care, not one person. We want to work with you We're going to work with you. Everybody's situation is different. So we want to customize the down payments. We want to customize the monthly plans. But what we don't want is we don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. We don't want you to. We don't want you to. So what I want you to do right now, I want every single person in here. If you are struggling, if you're not making money, especially if you're not making the type of money you know you should be making, let us work with you. If there is a will, there's a way. You found the real deal. We are the real deal. We help traders succeed every single day. Now, the time is now for you to succeed. It's your turn. So I want to encourage every person in here, whether you know which option you want to do or you want to just talk about payment plans, you want to talk about how you could potentially be with Josh on Thursday, I want to encourage you to type in your phone number right now. Now, I want to thank those that have stepped out on the limb and said, you know what, I know I don't know it all. I know that this was an amazing strategy that I know I can generate a lot of income from. And I don't know about you, but hopefully you're sick and tired of seeing snakes show you a whole bunch of crap that doesn't work. Well, you just saw something that does work. You're with the real deal. We are the real deal. This is proof it works because Josh does it every single day, and now he's going to do it with you every single day. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing stuff. And again, I want to thank those that have typed in their phone number with question mark, or typed in their phone number with one of the options. Thank you to Mike. I've got your phone number. Amberway, thank you. I've got your phone number. Lawrence and Jeff, thank you. I've got your phone numbers. Also, Izzy, thank you. I've got your phone number. Now, I do know this. Now, I want to be real with everybody. I know money doesn't grow on trees. I would be sitting in your shoes. 17 years ago, I would have sat in your shoes, and I would have said, man, I don't know. But I would have typed my number in. I would have typed my number in, and I would have said, you know what? There's no harm in me typing my number in. I'll at least have a conversation. And I'll find out more about this money-back guarantee, and if I can really take this for a spin, if I can really test drive this thing for 60 days, and if it is everything Tyson just said it is, then wow, holy smokes, this might be the answer to all my prayers. This might be the answer to everything that I've been looking for. And if it's not, okay, I would tell my education specialist, I would tell them very clearly, this would be me. I'd say, listen, here's the deal. If I'm not impressed, I'm going to get my money back. So if it were me, I would type my number in. And I would look for a way to get into this, and I would make it very clear that, listen, if I don't see opportunities, if I don't see this, I'm going to get my money back. But I have nothing to lose. I would be thinking, I have nothing to lose, so I'm going to type my number in. I'm going to at least have a conversation. And I also know when it doesn't mean you're automatically signing up. You're not swiping a card. What it means is you're having a conversation with us. You're talking with a dedicated education specialist that has seen thousands of students succeed and thousands of students not succeed, and he or she knows the difference between those that succeed and those that don't. So again, I want to thank Izzy. Thank you. I've got your phone number. And I want to ask everybody in here, and I'm going to send out a link here in a second. Izzy, thank you. Adam Way, thank you. Mike, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Jamie, I've got your phone number. Our education specialist reach out to you also. Thank you for that. Now, the seating for this Friday is limited, so it's important that if you have any interest, to type in your phone number with one of your options, or maybe a question mark now. Another cool thing is this, I want to show you this real fast, is when you get access to the Ultimate Charts, students that have access to the Ultimate Charts and the leveling course, you'll get access to be able to get my workspaces and our workspaces instantaneously. So when Joshua Martinez is with you and trading with you and showing you all this process, he's going to be able to push a button and push his workspaces out to you right away. So now if you think about what you're getting his strategy, you're getting basically as close to inside his mind as you can get, and now you're getting his workspaces so you're never trading blind. If we can't teach you how to generate an income and how to be a professional trader within these 60 days of this trial, then you know what? I don't think anybody can. So for your trading and investing career, I believe you, I know you found the place that's going to get you to where you want to be. Now the ball's in your court. You either trust us, at least trust us enough to take it for a spin, or miss out on a phenomenal opportunity. Now, I do want to show you a link here. If you would like, you can use this link. You can go directly to this link and just sign up here. This will put you right in the front of the line. I'm going to send this out to everybody. This will put you to the front of the line so you don't have to wait around. You don't have to question and wonder if you got into the course on Friday. You'll automatically know whether you're in or not. which you will be in if you use this link. You'll for sure be in. You'll automatically get the downloadable ultimate charts. You'll automatically be put in the front of the line to automatically get access to the FX Finder indicator. I want everybody to also know this also works on stocks. So I know we have a lot of stock and options traders in here. I wouldn't trade against the FX Finder. Just because it says FX doesn't mean it's a very powerful indicator that works also on stocks. So again, I'm going to be ending here in a second. I'm going to keep this open. If you have not yet, this does end today. This is a Columbus Day special. You're going to get the entire level 1 course. You're going to get all of the charts and the mentorship from Josh through the end of the year. You're going to get the Pimp guarantee, which basically means that we're either going to show you we are the real deal, or you get your money back. One or the other. There's really nothing to lose. It's kind of flabbergasting to me, and really boggles my mind why anybody wouldn't type in their phone number. It really doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm done. I stopped trying to make sense out of people many years ago because I can't. So, but anyway, I do think that you guys have more sense than the average because you're here, and I thank you for that. And so I want to help you be a professional trader, and I'm confident that this is the path. So again, one last time, and I will keep this open for a few more minutes, but I do want to encourage you now, if you haven't yet, type in your phone number with one of the options, or if you have questions, just to be introduced to your education specialist, to have a conversation with us. We are the greatest trading and investing company in the world, period. You found the greatest traders, Forex traders in the world, right here, right here. We're it. You found us, now we're going to teach you. And the coolest thing about it is you can put us to the test. And if you don't believe what I say, you put us to the test, and if you don't conclude that, then get your money back. There's really nothing to lose. So again, I want to encourage everybody, if you haven't yet, type in your phone number with either option A, option B, or question marks. But do not let this close down without you typing your phone number in. Don't do it. It's too important. So again, thank you, Izzy, Amrita, Amdaway, thank you, Mike, thank you. Deborah, thank you. I got that question. It is 8 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for that. Njir, thank you. I've got your phone number. Other education specialists reach out to you. Irene, thank you. If you are an options or stock trader, I encourage you to. Now, I trade a lot of stock and options myself. I love stock and options. Love it. Love it. But trading in the currency world opens your ability to diversify your portfolio in a way that you don't now if you're just trading stock and options, and it opens up your portfolio in being able to trade more actively without restrictions. And you can start with a very small account. So anybody that trades stock and options, this is a phenomenal opportunity, risk-free opportunity for you to start looking into other ways to diversify your portfolio. So, hey guys, I'm going to end there. I thank you everybody for their time. I'm going to keep this open for a little bit longer. I think investor inspirations for this webinar. This is limited offer. This is just for today. So if you have any questions, any desire at all, I would type in your phone number with one of the options or a question mark, but I wouldn't let this end without at least being on record saying, you know what, I want to learn more information. So again, guys, hey, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.